Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rabbi.
We are learning Mishna Gittin, Perek Test, Chapter 9, Mishnah Zayin, Mishnah 7. Okay. Today's Mishnah is sponsored by the Garland children, Zecher Nishmas, memory of their uncle, Gabriel ben Moshe Nachum, the Neshama Shaban Aliyah.
Amen.
All right. Now, here we go. Shir Mixes Haget, Uksave B'daf Hasheni. He left over part of the text of a get, and he wrote it in a second column. So that means you've got part of the get on one column, another part of the get on the other columm. Instead of writing, it's same page, it's not one long, it's one half is on one column, one half is on the other column, okay? And va'edim melamata, and the edim are signed at the bottom at the end of the second column, okay? That's where they're written. At the end, that's where the get ends. Kasher.
All right.
Kasher.
Good.
Nice and simple.
Easy.
Kasher. Okay? Nice and kasher. Now, so let's make it a little bit more complicated right now, okay? A comment here in the notes. You ready? However, if the parchment, now listen to this one. This is very, it's very unique. However, if the parchment under the first column appears to have been cut.
Is it what?
If the parchment under the first column appears to have been cut. Cut off.
All right.
That's what it looks like. Meaning it doesn't look like it's where the actual, parchment ended. It was cut off. It is possible that something, now listen to this. It is possible that something else was written under the first column and then cut off. We would then be concerned that these two columns are actually parts of two separate gittin, written side by side on the same page. But the bottom of the first column and the top of the second column were cut off to make them look like one get. You know that? If there's already a cut on the bottom, we have to be concerned that really there was more here and it was cut off.
All right.
What does more here mean? What more here means, what there was really a full get. It was cut off.
Just on the first
There was a
column.
second, now the second column, right, which it doesn't say it looks anything was cut there, but we have to be concerned that perhaps the second column really had something written above it and it was cut off, so that now it looks like one big get, because that's what it looks like, right? That is what it looks like. It looks like one long get. So if everything looks fine, you don't got to start being concerned. But once it appears that it's been cut off on the bottom of the first column, we have to be concerned that maybe there was a full get in the first column and part of it was cut off. There was a full get in the second column and the top was cut off, so that it should look like one big get, and then we wouldn't let it be used. Okay, next case. All right, here we go. Chasmu eidim reish hadaf. Okay, now we got one regular get. Okay, it's one regular get, one long get in one column. Everything's on one page. No complications from the part of the get. But where did the witnesses sign? On top of the page. Instead of signing on the bottom of the page, meaning at the end of the text of the get, they signed on the top.
No good.
Or minat sad. Or they did it on the side, like in the margin. Okay? Oy me achrav, or on the back. They signed on the back. The get pashut. And we're talking about a regular get, because if you remember, we had a get makusha for a Kohen, where they would write a couple of lines, fold it over, sew it up, and where would the witnesses sign? On the back. But here we're not talking about, we're talking about a regular get. They signed on the back, puzzle. Get's invalid, no good. Eidim have to sign on the bottom. Okay, now, here you get a little bit more complicated. Hikif reisho sholzeh, besad reisho sholzeh, va'edim emtza. Okay, what did he do here? He put the beginning of one get next to the beginning of another get. We got two getting again on this. We got two getting back on the page. Okay, and he has it set up. The beginning of one get is at the beginning of another get, and the witnesses are signed in between. You get that? Basically, one gets upside down, one gets right side up. Okay, and you have the witnesses in between. All right, so says the Mishnah, Hikav Reisha Shalzeh B'Sareisha Shalzeh Edim Be'emtza, Edim in the middle, Shneim Psulim. They're both going to be invalid. Because for one get, it comes out, well, by both Gittin, where are the signatures? At the beginning.
No good.
Now, for one of them, it's upside down, but that's irrelevant right now. The point is that it's for both Gittin, where the witness is signing at the beginning. No good. Next case. Sofer shal zeh b'tzad sofer shal zeh. You have the end of one against or opposite the end of the other. Okay. V'adim b'emtzan. The edim are in the middle. Okay. So before you had both the tops of each get next to each other, and now you have the bottom of each get next to each other. So again, one of them is upside down. Okay. Esra edim nikrin imay kasher. Whichever one the edim are regularly read with are kasher. Right? Meaning the edim signed in the middle are going to be at the bottom of one get, right? In a regular manner. Right? You're going to have let's say the top get. You have the top get written regular. You have the edim on the bottom there. And then you got the bottom of the other get next to the witnesses. Okay, so what do we have there? We have one set. We have for one get the edim are read regularly with them because it's one regular get with edim signed on the bottom. While the other one you're going to have, if you turn over the page, right, you've got the edim on the bottom of the get, but they're upside down. Yeah. So therefore, we say that which the edim are read with, those are the ones that are going to be kosher. Okay, the get with which the signatures of the witnesses are read in the ordinary manner, not upside down, is valid, but the other one is not. Okay, fine. Now, next case. Okay, the top, you have the beginning of one get is up to the end of the other get. That is, one get begins at the top of the page and continues to the middle, while the other begins in the middle of the page and continues to the bottom. Right? The witnesses are signed in between. Okay? So again, what do we have here? We have the top of one is at the beginning of one get is next to the end of the other get. That would mean
Regular.
What?
Regular.
No. The top of one get is next to the end of the other get. That means the bottom one is, let's call it regular. Well, whatever it is. Let's say you're looking at it straight, right? You've got one get that you're reading regular on the bottom, and then you've got the other gets upside down, right? That's the case where you have the top of the get next to the bottom of the other get. But edim emsan, the edim are in the middle. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Here we say, esher edim nikrim b'soifei kasher. Whichever one has the edim at the end is going to be kasher.
All right.
Okay, now, in this case, where you have, right? So in this case, what do we have? We have, right? Now, in this case, when you have the witnesses that are at the bottom of one get, okay, they're at the bottom of one get. Right. So what do you have again? You have, we say the top of one is next to the bottom of another, right? So that means you've got, I could show you this picture, but it's hard to see. Basically, you've got, if you're looking at the page, you've got one get is upside down.
The first one.
The first one is, now I'm not sure here. What's going on here? I'm looking at the wrong one. Sorry about that. Okay. Right. Okay. No. My mistake. Right. When you have the top of one against the bottom of the other, they're both right side up. You're looking at a get. It's written. You've got the bottom of the get.
Signed.
Right. Signed. Then you have the signatures. And then you have the top of the other get. Right?
Which is upside down.
No, it's not. It's not, because the bottom of one is next to the top of the other. They're not upside down.
All right.
And you have the edim in the middle. Okay? You have the edim in the middle of the two of them. That means the edim are signed at the bottom of one and at the top of the other. In that case, we say the edim who are at the bottom or at the bottom
Should be good for
are going to be good for the ones that they're at the bottom of, while the other get that the Edom are at the top isn't going to be good. So we just went through all the different scenarios. Okay, so again, just to make it clear, in the first case, you had the Edom in the middle, and the tops of each are next to each other. Okay, meaning you've got one that's upside down, one that's right side up. That's why the two tops are next to each other. The Edom in the middle, no good for none of them, because at the end of the day, it's at the beginning of the get. Doesn't work. Okay.
Neither are good.
Neither are good. Then in the second case, you have the bottom of one next to the bottom of the other. So you've got one on top that is right side up, looking at it, depending how you're looking at it, right? You've got one that's right side up. You got the other one is upside down because both bottoms are next to each other. The Edom are in the middle. The Edom are going to be kosher with the ones that they are read with regularly. Now, again, in each case, the Edom are at the bottom of each get. Just that for one get, they're right side up, and for the other get, they're upside down. And therefore, we say the ones that they are right side up with, the ones that you read them with regularly, that's where they go, and therefore that top one in that case, whatever it would be kosher. And in the last case, where you have the bottom next to the top, they're both right, they're both in the same direction. They can both be right side up. And you have the witnesses at the bottom of one and the beginning of the other. So because the witnesses are at the bottom of one, that makes it kosher, and the other one where they're on top, it's not kosher. Okay. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.